Hello everyone. I welcome you for the course Learning and Teaching. Let us take an example of a mechanic. A customer comes with a repairing a bike. He should have understood previously the mechanism of the bike, how the engine works, how the carburetor works, and such things, and then only he can set right the bike. Likewise, a teacher should know how the learning occurs, the mechanism of learning. Are there any different types of learning? So then only he can teach better. He or she can teach better. Hence, let us go into the course. So this is learning. So I think we can read this. Thank you for your valuable teaching, Tiara. I am very happy to inform you about my job offer. I got job in Cape Gemini company because you taught Java and MySQL, DBMS to excellent and easily understandable and rememberable. I have selected Java language in interview. I have answered all questions in simple way. Not only subject we have learnt many things from you, sir, mainly time management and discipline, especially dedication. Thank you, sir. I hotly remember two lectures in my life. First one you and second one our BSc Electronics HOD. We respect you always, sir. Once again, thank you, sir. So this was my colleague in computer science department. He got this, and this is what a teacher. It's an award to the teacher, as like Nobel Prize. So this is an award to the teacher. So how we get this? Okay. So all this depends upon how we teach to them, how well we teach to students. So some question I would like to pose you to ponder over: define learning. What do you mean by learning? Okay. Are there any different ways of learning? If yes, which would be the better in enhancing the achievement of the students? So three questions before you to discuss upon. Define learning. Are there any different ways of learning? If yes, then which would be better in enhancing the achievement of the student? So this is the whole thing which we have to focus upon for the entire learning process. So let's take up one by one. Can anyone define learning? Yes. So this is one of the fundamental definitions of learning in psychology. It is the permanent change in behavior which results from experience. So take the key words. Permanent change in the behavior which results from experience. So this is not a temporary. Permanent is the word keyword. It's not temporary change cannot be a learn. Only the permanent change. So if somebody teaches us, and if we remember it only a moment of time, and then if we forget, then that thing is not called as learning. So it is a permanent change in the behavior. Okay. So this is the fundamental definition, and still we built many more definitions of learning as we progress.
That's it.
So what has happened here? So what has happened here? As you could see, the ball. He tried to take the ball and fill in the basket. It's not getting filled. If he tries to keep still bending
That's
his
it.
body so that the ball comes out. Once he kept the ball in the basket, it should be kept right, straight. Then it will not come down. But it is as he bends, the basket also bends. Then ball, it's not always it comes down and falls on it. So what does this mean? with respect to the learner. Any idea? So learning, so he does a mistake and the mistake is not corrected. So we will learn that boy, just take it as an example because we keep will do this because we should not take that kid. So if one corrects the mistake, then we will be learn. If not, learning does not occur. So now we will get the second definition of learning, which is learning is correction of mistakes. So if you are not correcting the mistake, you are doing that, you are not learning, you are doing the same thing or the same mistake again and again. We go further. So let us think there are different styles of arranging the classroom. The students can sit in different styles, like the one theater style, the second classroom, the third boardroom, the fourth cabaret, the fifth U-shape with tables, and sixth U-shape without tables. So all different types of arrangement in a classroom. This is the physical element. So which one do you think enhances the achievement? Which one do you think enhances the achievement of student? One or two or three or four or five or six. So many answers would come, but probably most of the answer would be either five or six. If you want to write something, then fifth is better because when compared to the remaining one, two, three, and four, the fifth one is the direct attention of the teacher is all over the student. Therefore, nothing can be hid from the teacher. We have to be attentive. The students have to be attentive towards the teacher, hence the achievement will be more. Consider simple the physical arrangement of the class itself. If it could increase the achievement, why not? If we know some theories of learning, won't it increase the achievement of students? Sure, it will increase the achievement of students. We go further.
தீயினால் சுட்டபுண் உள்ளாரும் ஆறாதே நாவினால் சுட்ட வடு நாவினால் சுட்ட படி.
This is a simple learning by a kid. Normally, everyone would have done that. The people from non-Tamil also, I think they could understand. A couplet learned by a kid, he said in a wrong, the words he misspelled. So every kid will do this and then they will correct it. This is how the learning starts at the young, very in the tender age. I think now also you may be knowing in India, new education policy, we have to start the learning from sixth age. Okay. This is how the learning starts at the younger age. The mistake have to will be corrected and where does it ends? So it ends to at any level. Nobody knows where the learning ends because nowadays the achievement is tremendous. Do you know what is this? So this is the space tourism. So many company now it has two companies have come out to take the tourists to the space, 100 kilometers above the earth, and after that, this is the capsule which brings them down to the earth after space travel. Okay, Elon Musk space agency. So that is how they take the passenger to the travel to the space. So to that level, our learning has become. So we have more advanced now. We can travel to the space. As like any other tourism, we can now go for space travel. To that level, the learning takes. Okay. So how it goes? So a small experiment before you. Now you will be seeing few images, and then you have to tell if you see a living thing, you have to say yes, and if you see a non-living thing, you have to say no. Shall we start? So this one is yes. So like this, I'll go further. You have to say yes or no. Okay. Hope so. You have told everything correctly. Okay. Now we will go. This is an example of the type of learning which we are going to see now. We will go to the learning. What is it? So now we are going to see a type of learning which is called as learning by conditioning, and it was by the scientist or psychologist. He is a scientist, Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, a Russian scientist. He was experimenting on dogs or on the digestive juices, for which he was awarded Nobel Prize. The offshoot of the experiment is the learning theory. Come, let us know about the learning theory, which is called as learning by conditioning. Okay, so here's the image. I think take it as a dog. May look like a cat also. So the bell is ringing, and the dog thinks, "What is it?" There could not be any meaning understood by the dog, the ringing of the bell, which means there is no connection between the ringing of the bell and the dog. So this is the beginning. Okay. We will now let us go a little bit further. Now the dog is presented with a food, and you see what the response. The saliva. Dog salivates. If it sees the food, it salivates. So the food is the stimulus, and the saliva is response. Now you see there is a connection. There is a connection between the food and the saliva. This connection is called as learning. Okay, the connection between the food and the stimulus. Okay, but it is occurred natural. Nobody will tell that you should salivate when you see the food. Okay, so it comes naturally by reflex condition. Therefore, the stimulus food is called as unconditioned. It is not conditioned. It is unconditioned stimulus. The response is unconditional response. So, to unconditional stimulus, unconditional response is happened. This is otherwise natural stimulus, natural response. Okay. This also happens for us also. So even us also, we will get saliva when we see the food, or when the bill rings at 1 p.m. in our classrooms. So we will get salivated. Okay. So now let us go further. Uh, this is natural. Seeing the food and getting saliva is the natural. Now let us see. This is the first step of the experiment, and the second step where the food is associated with the ringing of the bell and it is given to the dog. And this is done for quite many times. So just by before giving the food, the bell is rang and then the food is given. This combination is taken for several times. And you see the food is an unconditional stimulus, natural stimulus, for the saliva will come. And the bell is the conditional stimulus or artificial. It will not come natural, but it is associated with the food and given for several times. After doing it for maybe 2 or 3, let us see the third step. Now only the bell is rang. You see the dog salivates, even without seeing the food. Okay, so the bell rings. So now the food, it's a salad. It's a salad. So now this is it is a conditional stimulus. For this conditional stimulus, the response has come. This response is termed as conditioned response. It's not natural. It's not unconditional. So it was artificially created. So naturally there will not be any association between the bell and the saliva. Now the association was gone. This association is called as learning. If we have a connection between stimulus and response, one prefix, new stimulus and new response, not a natural kind of thing. If you try to build a connection between new stimulus and a new response, that connection is called as error. Okay? And this is what called as condition, learning by conditioning by Pavlov. So, so I would like to associate with anything. Uh, an elephant is tied to a pet. Do you correlate with this learning by conditioning? Could you? See, elephant when it was a calf, it was tied to the peg. Since it is a calf and tied to the peg, I think it will not move, and even if it tries to move, it will not because it is tied to a peg. But as the elephant grows and now it goes to a mammoth size, now if you try to put little, the peg will come, but it will not do it because from the young age itself it was conditioned to tie to the peg. Therefore, this is a good example for learning by condition. So, learning theory will not only be helpful for us, but we have to know how it is being applied in circumstances. Just now we have learned the learning by condition. How do we apply? Which place of learning we can see that application? Can you write one by one? So this conditioning learning by conditioning is a type of association learning. We associate the stimulus with the response, new stimulus and the new response. All alphabet learning falls under association learning. So every alphabet, whatever may be the language, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, or Hindi, Odia, whatever language we learn start with alphabet. That alphabet learning is with association learning. So we associate A with some other thing, B with some other thing, and slowly that some other thing will go, A stand, and then group of alphabet becomes words, and group of words becomes sentences. Likewise, we are learning further with this or not. So all language learning is falls under stimulus response type, and you see this is very important. Emotions can be created among the subjects. Love, fear, hatred can be created using association type of learning. So now you can see one experiment with little Albert. So you could also see this experiment.
This is the footage of a controversial 1920s experiment on a baby known as Little Albert, conducted by psychologist John B. Watson. The purpose of the experiment was to show that a normal 9-month-old infant could be conditioned to have a phobia of something he wasn't scared of before. Firstly, Watson presented little Albert with objects that the baby wasn't afraid of, objects that Albert initially liked. A monkey, a dog, a rabbit, And finally, a white rat. Albert particularly liked the white rat. In all of these clips, notice Albert's positive reactions. Now in these clips is where the conditioning starts. Each time Albert tried to touch the white rat, a loud iron rod was struck that would upset him. Notice how Albert starts to cry when he tries to touch the rat. Albert was then shown a rabbit, but this time he immediately begins to cry and attempts to crawl away from it. He then has a negative reaction when a dog is brought in.
I think now by this time could have understood the conditioning. Previously, the kid was playing with many kind of toys and animals. But as the rank white rat has come, they produce artificial sound like bang. Before the child touches the one shot, they produce this sound, and they do it for many times. And after that, the child shows negative reaction towards white dots, and of course white colors also afterwards. So this is how the emotions, the fear is created among the subject. And this may be on the negative side, even if you can think, if you can extend your thinking little further, even emotions can be removed. It can be created among the subject, even it can be removed when we do it in a reverse way. It can be removed. So that is the positive side. Can be created like fear can be created is a negative, fear can be removed is positive. Whereas love can be created is positive. Okay. So those things can be done using this learning the conditioning theory. And as we can see many, when we see film and walk out of the theater, we used to say the words often said by the hero or villain or whomsoever, and that is due to association. So we associate. We have learned from the film and then we will try to see. Okay. So thank you so much. We'll meet in next episode with the next.